now we're at the time where the Hamashiach is getting ready to come.
And hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I am the Lord.
Last words, brother.
Shalom, shalom, ma.
All right.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. All right. Shabbat shalom, Israel.
God, Shabbat Shalom, Israel.
All right.
Let's get it up.
Have a blessed Shabbat. Let's see here. We got in the comments here. We like to just kind of welcome everybody.
God.
Section.
Trickle on in.
Shabbat shalom. All right. We got our normals, our ones that are with us every week. All right. Shabbat shalom.
God, man. All praises to the Most High.
All right, Israel. So as the brews are gathering on, we got a good lesson for you. Go ahead and tell them what that lesson is.
It's going to be out of the frying pan and into the fire. Right.
That's right. That's right. So Israel, you know, this is part 3. Part 3 of a lesson series that we've been doing on the generations, the 3 generations. All right, all the way from the 50s and prior and on after. So we're going to be dealing with the last onset of what's really going on and everything, and how we just doggone degraded ourselves as a people. And Brother Eitan got some stuff that he's going to show you too that we're going to get on and everything. But hey, Israel, I just want to say, you know, Most High never changes. All right, Most High never changes. So he's the same today and forevermore. So what makes us think that our society is this because you have this feminist movement and everything? What makes our people think that Most High is going to accept that kind of stuff? You know, the order still stands. You know, the man is the head and the woman is to submit. Point blank, simple. It never changed. All right, it never changed. Now that don't diminish the role of the woman. That don't mean that the woman is at the foot of the man. All right. When you read Proverbs 31, it's clear on what a true woman, a righteous woman, is going to be like. All right. But we don't see too much of that in the U.S. So there's a lot of things that have been changing, a lot of things that, you know, are just so out of order that it's become normal now. So, Brother Eitan, want to take us away, brother?
Oh, God. Well, you know, like I said, you know, this is right. Like we've already seen, right, through the graphs that we've shown through the first 2 parts of what we've been as a people, right? We first started off, you know, slavery. We got freed from slavery back in 1865, right? Then we started to build our own civilization, our own nation, you know, that without the heathen, right? We're starting to, you know, be prosperous, right? Prosperous, right? We're doing our own thing. Then next thing you know, we had you know, we had the Civil War going on. We had the Great Depression going on, right? You know, the Great Depression, well, you know, like we were saying, but that was a result of them pretty much releasing us from being slaves, right? Because they didn't have anyone to do the work for free, right? So, you know, the economy was falling, right? Things were getting bad. So they decided to come up with this plan, right? They say that it was called civil rights, but I believe it was the reintegration of slaves. But this time, instead of the shackles being on our hands and our feet, right, the shackles became that on our mind, right? Because just like the curses say in Deuteronomy 28, right, you know, that we will be destroyed, right? It didn't say, you know, it already says that we're going to be shackled and rods and irons, right? You know, since shackles and irons are on our necks and things that he says that, and then we're going to be destroyed. Now, if you look at this today, right, the worst situation that we did, right? I mean, the worst thing that we did was to reintegrate with the heathen, right? Because now instead of, you know, like I was saying, like the shackles on our ankles and our hands and our necks, right? We have the shackles on our minds, right? Even though, right, you know, we still have to be twice as better as the heathen to get a equal shot at something, right? We've still got to understand that we're in the land of our oppressor and we are being oppressed, right? That doesn't mean that you should work less hard or anything like that, but the situation is what it is. Now that we've been reintegrated in with the heathen, right? What we do, we're the best slaves that money has, didn't even have to buy, right? Just look at it like this: you go to work, right? Even though you do work for the heathen, right? You go to work for the heathen. You take the money that the heathen gives you, and you spend it right back with the heathen, right? It's a never-ending cycle, right? It's not a cycle that you can break on your own, right? It's not even a cycle that you should really, I should say, try to break really like that. You should be concentrated more so on keeping these commandments and being focused on our people. There is no other way really for you to get riches. There's no other way for you to really get any kind of supplies, natural goods, and other this than going through the heathen, because that's the curses that we have had on our people for not keeping the commandments, our forefathers, right? It wasn't always like this, right? Back in the days, King David, Solomon, and all those, and our forefathers of great and old of the holy bloodline, right? They didn't have to worry about that, right? They had all the goods and services, all the other countries and all the other nations that came to them for services, right? And they sold with rigor, and they sold with interest and things of that nature, right? But now we're on the receiving end. Why? Is because we fail to follow the Lord's laws, statutes, and commandments. You want to join in before I continue?
No, go ahead, bro.
All right, Khan, right? So now from the Civil War era, they were from the Civil Rights era, right? They were successful into reintegrating us back into with them, with the false god of equality, right? Hey, everybody's equal, right? Saying let's try to do this, everybody's equal, and we know that what the scriptures say, that we're above all nations, right? You see how you can put a brother or a sister into a certain trade or or a situation, and they might not know nothing about it, right? They might not know for a can of paint, but just give them a little while, right? A brother that can endure, a studious brother or sister, right? Or a brother that pays or a sister that pays attention, right? They're able to master that craft, right, in a short time and be better than the one that taught him or her, right? That's just what it is. And so now today, right, even now today being integrated in with the heathen, they have still continued on with the same ideal of equality, right, which is now turned into some type of god, right, which is at first it was just dealing with the races, right? Hey, black and white, we got to be equal, you know what I'm saying, or something like that, right? Say, hey, we all got to be equal out here, all the nations, we got equality, right? But now it's becoming to a situation, now they're talking about men and women being equal, and then they have this, and then, which is a bridge to, equality could be anything. And now they're trying to deal with children and all kinds of other stuff. And they're trying to, include this with these, transgender and homosexuality and all this weird stuff that we have on the earth these days. Right. Let me get this scripture real quick. Right. It's just a lot of false doctrine that we have out here. Right. And it's just basically killing our people. Right. The scripture says on Sirach 21:18, as a house that is destroyed, so is wisdom to a fool, and the knowledge of the unwise is to talk without sense. Right? This is what we have that's going on right now. Right? We have the knowledge of the unwise that is taking over the earth. Right? Because all the things that they're speaking, right? It doesn't have any sense. It doesn't have any sense to them. They're making you think that it's okay to be, if you're a man, hey, they're trying to encourage you to be with another man. If you're a woman, they're trying to encourage you to be with another woman, right? This place is destroyed. The knowledge of the unwise is a talk without sense.
Speaking on that, you notice that like it's mostly in the West, right? Granted, some spots in Africa, like South Africa, is pretty much like a little baby America, because we noticed that, even they're pushing a lot of this stuff. Didn't they just, what was it? I want to say it's Nigeria. It was one of them African countries where the U.S. is withdrawing their embassies because of the fact that they don't want to support this whole transgender, this whole homosexuality thing. I can't remember which country it was though, but and I think Jamaica's one of them as well too. But that's just that goes to tell you that the influence of the West is really pushing. They're really pushing this agenda throughout the whole world, throughout the four corners. you know. But I just, pray that a lot of these leaders will just stand up against that stuff, against that wickedness, and not accept that, But like brother said, we're going, we're in such you know that we're in some serious crazy times, all right, where you have a government, a U.S. government that is just literally pushing this stuff. Not only the government, but I'm talking about these elitists and these people, the same people that Hitler was trying to get rid of. Same exact ones.
Yeah. And now they have a foothold in this, a foothold where we're at. Well, they have a foothold everywhere. It looks like they're just taking over, right? Like they've been have. It's just a damn shame, Israel, right? Our people as a whole, right? I don't think we really get it truly. We complain about a lot of things that are going on, about prejudicism, about racism, things of that nature, but we still don't want to stick together as a people. Our strongest times is always the time that we stuck together as a people. Men and women together, right? We knowing our rules, we knowing our roles, right? A lot of this, a lot of this feminism, this separationism, that they're teaching, right? This is a detriment to our community, right? We got sons and daughters growing up without fathers, right? We have children raising children. We have no discipline, no rules, no standards, no morals. Low on the totem pole right now across all the earth. Our people to look down on, even though we're the strongest, right? We go to the Olympics, we take over. We run it there. We run any kind of physical activity, man, we'll run you down as a nation, Any kind of art, or any kind of special technique or anything like that, as a people, once we get a hold of it, we'll master it and we'll shut it down. But yet we're still the most disrespected people on the earth.
And it's sad that the U.S. is the only country that has convinced majority of black women that they can live independent from the man. Like, when you really think about it, I mean, you look at the marriage rates of other countries. The U.S. is the only country that endorses feminism and solidifies that they can be independent of the man. You don't see that nowhere else. You don't see. You go to these Asian countries. You're not going to see that stuff. You go to a lot of these African countries. You're not going to see that. All right. Even in the Caribbean islands, you're not going to see a lot of that. You're going to see people who are married because they realize at the end of the day that there is an order, and the woman needs the man and man needs the woman. But when you live independent like that, when you get to a point where you feel like, okay, this is a new thing and we can live independently, then you pretty much cursed yourself. And now you wonder why it's the single rate in the U.S. is so high. All right, what do we make up, like 13-point-something% of the U.S.? No, I'm just talking about the U.S. alone.
God.
And that's a lot. And when you're talking about 77.6% of babies born are born to unwed mothers, black babies. Israel. That's a state of emergency. That's like, that is like unprecedented. When have we ever been that high like that? When you compare it to the 50s, when you compare it to, on back from the 50s and beyond, it doesn't even come close. And it's like Brother Eitan said, it seems like the only time we really stick together is like when we were in slavery. I mean, it's crazy.
Ecclesiasticus, Book of Sirach, chapter 28, verse 13. It says, "Curse the whisperer and the double tongue, for such has destroyed many that were at peace." Right? Our people were at peace at the time. Right? We had started to come out of the, getting raped, robbed, and murdered, our back beat in, flesh filleted, getting our teeth knocked out if we didn't want to accept the food from the heathen. Imagine we were at a time that we would deny ourselves the food that the heathen would try to offer us. Then fast forward years into the future, and then we have our people fighting to eat at the table of the heathen. We have an attack of whisperers and double-tongued people are in the background pushing for this movement because they don't want to see Israel shine like we need to, come back to the law, statutes, and commandments so we can get up out of this captivity. I don't care what anyone says, right? You know, we're in captivity, right? It may be a light captivity, right? Because, you know, you can work, you can get a job, you can heap up riches, right? In this land of the heathen. Sure, you can do that, right? But none of this is yours, right? You can't just go out and grab you a plot of land and then just live there without having to pay taxes on it, without having to worry about some situation, right? You can't even go off the grid without the government trying to see what is going on.
And on top of that, they can seize your land. You know,
God.
let's say you don't want to obey their laws. You know, when something comes down, and you don't want to do what they want you to do, yeah, they can seize your land, take everything you want, your house, your car, everything.
God, right?
Yeah.
It says, "The backbiting tongue hath disquieted many, and driven them out from nation to nation. Strong cities has it pulled down, and overthrown the houses of great men." Right? This is the situation that we're going on right now, right? Look how the great men of our people have been thrown down and have been murdered. It's because of backbiting, right? Look at even Hamashiach, right? Who was backbiting Hamashiach? Judas. He was a backbiter, right? Tried to pull down the Hamashiach, even though that was written and that was a prophecy that he had to die for us, right? But even though that was a prophecy, we look that it had to be done by somebody, right? A backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women and deprived them of their labors, right? Because, you know, let's just, you know, some men, right? You know, since some men, they will be upset if that virtuous woman will not lay down with them, right? They will be upset if that sister that has kept herself virtuous, right, does not mess with him because he's a Pookie or Ray Ray. You know, he might try to spread around the block that that he might have slept with that woman, or try to lie on a woman that says that she's a thief, or, you know, this, that, or the third, right? It says, "Whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest and never dwell quietly." Right? So what does that mean, right? That our words and the way that we speak to each other and the way that we hold ourselves accountable, right? Upholding oaths that we give to each other, and this holding ourselves in an upright source of righteousness, right? This is the way that we should conduct ourselves around our people. Backbiting, lying, right? Listening to the lies of the heathen, right? Trying to congregate with them against your brother. Things of that nature, man. This is how we're falling down, because they have integrated this in there that you will take the side of a heathen before you will that of your brother. How can we come together in a nation like that when they look at you as being racist when you decide to choose your own people over them? And then when you go to other nations, is it like that? No, of course not. How can it be? Because they're all the same race. See, that's the trick of integration, right? You can never claim who you are or your people and want to look out for them to be the superiority in a particular situation. You can't do it because
right. No, and then it becomes multicultural, because whenever you have a group of people mixed in together, guess that they always say like black and brown people. You know what they're talking about? They're talking about those Mexicans and Hispanics and everything. And you're right, man. That is so common, because you can't become superiority with that. You can't be separated, because now we're blended in with all these people, and then now we're caught up in multiculturalism. Go ahead, bro.
Oh no, come on, man. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but and it's crazy, and that's why they use like ambiguous terms. Like every time, like they don't want to acknowledge us, they'll say, they'll just say brown people. They can kind of blend us in with everybody else. Why? Because we're integrated. We can't stand out. Just like when we had Black Wall Streets across the Midwest, we were able to stand. We were competitive. But they don't tell you about the black leagues, sport leagues we had. We had our own bus lines and everything. And that was the whole purpose of integration, because I'm telling you, you see, they sat back and they're like, look, if these blacks, if these Israels, if they continue to increase like this, they're gonna put us out of business. They are going to, because when you look at like Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the people who were getting paid and within Black Wall Street were still making way more than people. Minimum wage was still making way more than these heathens on the outside. That's crazy. That tells you that they were booming. They knew how to run businesses. They were separate. They were separate from the heathens. So in order for the heathens to get us under the trap, they had to integrate us so we could lose our power and everything. Now, you name me one Israelite job or Israelite company that can afford to hire at least 1,000 people or more. You're not going to find it. I'm not talking about these mom and pop stores. I'm talking about like companies like Apple and different other companies that can afford to hire Israel. That's the problem. That's why we're in such a bind, because now it's like a lot of our people can't find jobs. Because that's why we're talking about skills last night for the new moon lesson. It's important to have a skill, because if you don't, you think these folks gonna give you a job? They don't have to give you a job. They can meet the quota. As long as they got one black person in there, they met their quota. It's crazy.
You know,
yeah.
Verse 18, it says, many have fallen by the edge of the sword, right? Because you got to think about all the wars and everything that we've had over the centuries of the millennia, right? That the earth has stood. It says, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue, right? Which reminds me of something, right? Because I remember, just there's, because I'm not gonna lie, Israel, Brother Daniel and I, we gotta, like we say, we try to battle against, we have a hard time ahead of us, right? The Pookies and the Ray Rays, right? And the and the harlots of Israel, they're really dragging us down because they want to buy into the heathen dogma, right? We got these fake Christian churches and these pastors, right? They want to seduce you with the tongue, right? Which reminds me, hold up, man. Let me show y'all something. Give me a second, real quick, right? I don't know if y'all have seen this, right? But this is something that was circulating around and it went viral. This is just kind of weird, right? And there are so many scriptures that go against this, but this is another thing that now this kind of thing has gotten to our people that now they're up in the Christian churches, right? Where you got plenty of black people, mostly women up in there, right? Listening and listening to things that like this, and this is and these folks, man, true, we might get on the harlots a lot too, but this is the stuff that heads it up. These weak noodleback men, right? That should not be up anywhere, man. These men would have got beheaded back in the day, right? You know what I'm saying? Somebody would have thrown a spear through this brother, right? This is just wicked. All right. Hey, I'll put a one in the comment if you can hear Brother Daniel and myself. Brother Daniel, say something. Sound check, 1 2 1 2.
Can you hear us, Israel? If you can hear us, well, somebody would have said something by now. So.
All right, Con.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna play this real quick. Let me make sure the volume's up. All right.
This is really interesting. In verse 22, this is the creation of the woman, Eve. But you don't hear Eve coming into the earth saying, "Where's my man?" Huh? Am I reading it right?
Now, of course, she wouldn't say that, right? Because there was only one man on the earth, and that was Adam. There was only one man. This dude is.
He's backwards. It is dude when you look at it. When the Most High, he says it's not good for men to be alone. All right. So yes, he provided him a woman. She was automatically, when she was automatically created, she was automatically dependent on Adam. Because why? Adam had the authority. Show me one scripture in the Torah where the Most High gave dominion to the woman.
And why is this bad? Right? Why is this a bad thing? Like why are they trying to teach this as a bad thing the way that the Most High had designed it? right? Why would they teach it as a bad thing? Right?
And if you want to get technical, Eve was the first servant.
Let's say, like, just I mean, just because, okay, the world's pretty much civilized now, but still, right? A lot of men are dangerous, right? A lot of men are dangerous. That's just the way it is, right? Men go to war, right? Men are dangerous, right? Not all men are good, right? A lot of men are not. Says we see how the earth they're all right now, and the earth is continuing to go right. No, or not, right? A lot of people are wicked. A lot of people will do things to harm you, which is why, right? They got bears, lions, all kinds of, especially back in that day right there. That's why Adam was there for Eve, also for protection and also for a helpmeet. It doesn't make any sense to try to teach some false dogma that goes against family, right? That goes against two-parent homes, that goes against raising up children that can be successful in a society, or raising up a two-parent home that can raise up a child to teach to know the laws, statutes, and commandments, and to understand on the love between two parents, and to go ahead and continue it on, right? A man in the home to instill discipline, and a woman in the home to nurture. This is wickedness.
It says the man said, Eve came into the earth. Watch this. Adam was the one who was broken.
Where's that in the Bible?
Yeah, exactly. Where is he getting this from? This is, woe unto them that add unto the Most High's word. The Most High shall add the plague unto them. See, this is that kind of wicked preaching that these old these spineless brothers be trying to push out and everything. How you gonna twist the word? How you gonna lie on the Most High? Because Adam was the only one broken. Well, first of all, Adam was perfect. Adam was perfect before sin. They just, man, these people. And he gonna have a hell of a surprise too.
He probably came from a single parent home, right? He probably came from a single parent home.
More likely. Sitting up there lying on the scriptures, lying on the Most High, talking about Adam was broken. Adam was perfect. The
government has definitely. Hey Daniel, man, they say they can't hear you. They're saying that you're low.
Am I low? Hold on, let's see if I can turn my volume up a little bit. What about now?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
But I got my headphones up, so I don't know.
Yeah, I got my Bluetooth on, so.
All right, Con. All right, we see some ways in the comment. Okay, that's good. All right. So, like, we got brothers like this that have came through the womb, most likely a single mother, being able to, most likely came from a single mother, being able to preach this dogma. But we see that also that the government has also done a lot. They have done a lot to try to push this kind of scenario in our community the most, right? They come up with all kind of government assistance programs that doesn't allow you to have a man in the home, when in the beginning, when they first did it for themselves, right, they didn't have rules stipulating that they couldn't have a husband, right? They couldn't have a man in the home in order to receive government benefits. But now, because they are able to receive government benefits, right, special loans and grants, right, that they have, especially for women, right, they make it feel that you can do it all on your own, right? Even though, right, and they try to say that men aren't empathetic, and they try to make this wedge in between the genders, right? When you look at it, we do everything that we can to try to protect women from other men, bad situations. What I'm saying? We try to help out situations to the fullest. Now, you do have parasites, right? We do have parasites on both sides of the genders, and that's the things that's making it worse. Like, I see that it's going to continue to get more wicked as time goes on, is because when you have something that you're offering a free commodity, right, and then and you're not requiring marriage anymore to have sex, no one has a inspiration to try to strive for anything better, right? It's always going to be things that are going to be down in the dumps, in the dirt. It's only going to be that strong brother or that strong sister that is devoted, right, and that was born of the Most High, that's going to be able to keep these commandments, right? You're gonna have to. The Most High, in the scriptures, it says that if you're of Most High, you do the Most High's will. Right? If you're of the Most High, you do the Most High's will. That means you're a repentant Israelite that keeps the law, statutes, and commandments, and you don't believe in foolishness, and you read for yourself, right, the Holy Scripture, so you can get true understanding.
That's right.
Eve came into the earth whole. She had both ribs. Society wants women to believe you're broken if you're not with somebody. But God says the woman came into the earth complete, not seeking or needing anyone or anything. I don't know who I'm talking to today, but you got to stand in your power. You are one of one.
Now, right, like I says, right, and this is the continued dogma that they teach, right, ever since that I don't need no man stuff. This is exactly what they're teaching, right? This is this clown dude is teaching right here that I don't need no man dogma, right? I don't need a man doctrine. When you look at the scriptures and you really look in the Bible and you read, you see that all holy, everything that the Most High had governing over, right? There was always a man governing, always a man there for protection. A father protected his daughter until what? He gave her off to the next man that she married. And so the husband protected her, you know what I'm saying? So the husband protected his wife, right? And if they had children, right? If he had a daughter, it would be the same thing. There's always protection going on there. There's always governance. There's always discipline. There's always respect. There's always a nurturing situation going on. There's always teamwork, right? There's no never situation where you're off by yourself.
Yeah. And Eve was a lesser vessel, all right? And so this guy talked about Eve was whole and she didn't need no man. If that was the case, you know what I'm saying, there would be woman. The Most High knew that the seed would have to be carried through the man. So, again, this kind of teaching really solidifies this type of person he is. More likely he's raised by a single mother. And you can tell this is the kind of generation that we're dealing with. And I'll tell you, this stuff is serious. We're dealing with third generation of harlotry, and 70% point something percent of babies being born to unwed mothers. It's gonna get worse. Next 20 years from now, it's gonna be ridiculous. I don't even want to think about it, because now you're working on the fourth and fifth generation of harlotry. It just gets worse and worse with time. And you're gonna hear more stuff like this. This is pretty much, this is blasphemy. This dude is doing, this is blasphemy. Straight up wickedness.
That's not even it. And Khan, D Park, the dude,
everything that goes against the Torah and the Most High, clearly he's not keeping laws, because clearly he has no understanding of the scriptures. He has no understanding, what the roles are. So you can tell he's just a lost soul.
Khan. All right, let's continue the video. That's not all, man. I can only imagine what the sermon was like. Good gracious.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you if you're not with somebody?
Go ahead, up.
Yeah, I was like, then the fact that you got people cheering, I guarantee you 90% of the people that's in the audience are women.
Yeah, look at the front row. You can see him right here. There's a woman right there. Another woman. They're all clapping. See her hand open? She's clapping.
Yep.
You as a
and that's sad. And see, that's the sad thing about this, right? If they really understood the scriptures, or if they even just open up the Bible and read Ephesians, all these, there are so many scriptures that says that, and it's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? And it says that the woman was created for the man, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? And for this man to be sitting here and telling a lie on the Most High God of Israel, you don't think he's going to pay for that?
women are complete. You're whole. And I gotta say it because I'm tired of us supporting a culture that tries to make women think there's something wrong with them if they're not married. It's just not true.
God, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I said a man should leave his mother and his father and join them to his wife, and they should become one. So a woman is not married. She's not even close to being whole. All right. Then this brother, again, he doesn't even understand the whole concept of marriage. You know, and that makes me think that this guy's even married himself. He might be. Dude could be homosexual. Who knows?
No, that's that same dude that was married to what was that? Megan Good, in it or something like that? Ain't this the dude?
No idea. I have no idea.
You know what I'm saying? That harlot. You know what I mean? So you know he ain't in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? This dude straight up chose a harlot.
Yeah. So you know, again, you know, that just goes to show you the testament of this brother. You know what he's all about. You know, clearly he don't understand. So, you know, to say that a woman is whole, don't need nobody, no, that's totally against the scriptures. It's not. A woman was made specifically for a man. Now, if the Most High would have chose, that's why when you had the holy angels, that's why when the angels fell off and everything, they had their spiritual bodies. I don't believe that. I cannot. You can't. There's nowhere in the scripture where it says that there were feminine or they were female women angels. You don't see that in the scriptures. All right.
No.
So what was it like before that? And so, you know, the only reason why a woman was created in the first place was to be able to be the incubators to carry the man's seed.
And to be a helpmeet, you know what I'm saying, to be a helpmeet and to keep Adam company, right? Because the scripture says that it was not good for Adam to be alone. You know, which means that we need each other. You know, the women need the men, and the men need women, right? That's just the way that the Most High has designed it. For them to preach contrary is wicked.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be funny, but to say that the woman is absolutely independent of the man is totally false. It's just totally false. You know.
I don't know. Right? Let's finish.
No, I think that was it. I think that was it right there.
This is really interesting.
There was another video, brother. You sent me. It was this brother. He was breaking down the patriarchy of how women and everything. He was breaking down the dominance of men and how women. Man, it was a really good one. It was a brother. He was breaking it down. It was like 5 minutes. You remember sending me that?
It was a brother, or was it a heathen? It wasn't an old. It wasn't an old heathen, was it?
It was a brother. It was a black dude. He was a little light skin. And there was a woman speaking in the beginning. There was a woman speaking in the beginning saying that this man is dropping some jewels.
Oh yeah. That's a no. He was I think he's an Arab. I think that dude was an Arab. Yeah, Khan. Okay. But you know, if you want to listen to it, you want the people to hear it.
Yeah, man, we should play it, man, because he had a really good point. It was just I really got the point that he was bringing out.
Let me
that was super. But while he's bringing that up, I thought that guy was Israel because he looked dark. He looked a little dark the way he talked and everything. He sound like a brother. So, why he's surprised. What's that?
No, I said, man, you're gonna be surprised because this dude is. Hold on, wait. Yeah. All right, go ahead because this does not look like a doggone brother. Well, it's just funny though. And
it's the same one, right? What the woman was speaking, and then his brother was breaking down. He was talking about. The question was asked, you know, should men have dominance over women? And he was like, why wouldn't they? You know, it was about the history that men, had dominance, is that women were submissive. It was just the roles that they played. It doesn't diminish the woman.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, Con, I got it right here. I just found it. I found it.
Yeah, pull it up. I'll see if that's the one. But I want to get the point that was brought out because the point was powerful. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. He made a lot of sense. Now I can't lie. He made a lot of sense. Hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't the Quran say that men have authority over women?
Well, don't they? I mean, according to your own narrative, men have been running the show. The feminists are asking for their so-called rights. From who exactly? If you didn't have...
All right, y'all get what he's saying? The feminists are asking their rights from who? Meaning they're asking their rights from men.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what he was alluding to.
What you call patriarchy, then what you would have is a hell on earth for women. Because clearly, women do not have the power to coerce men, to force men, to make men deal with them this way or that way. if you're out somewhere and a man starts to chat you up and you don't want to be chatted up, what do? You tell him, I have a boyfriend. I'm married. And he goes away. You have to conjure up an imaginary man to get him to back off, because 9 times out of 10, only a man can keep another man in check, because men are inherently more dangerous than women. Instead of patriarchy, replace that word with bodyguard. What makes more sense? For you to be my bodyguard or for me to be your bodyguard? Who do you think is more capable of protecting who? From who? If men didn't protect women, who would? Why, men would do whatever they wanted. And isn't your bodyguard responsible for you? Shouldn't you listen to him if he says, for example, don't go here, don't go there, or let's take this route instead of that route because it's safer? Isn't that authority? But he's doing it for you. Would you feel resentment about that authority? That's irrational. Look, you cannot dismiss the importance of physicality, human physicality. We're physical beings. Technology does not level the field the way you think it does. And if you were walking in the street by yourself late at night and you see a man coming towards you, which one of the two of you is more likely to be afraid?
Oh, now that's powerful right there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
who's going to be scared of who?
It's not right there. When you really think about it, it's the facts.
But see, you in the West have confused this. The feminists have confused this. The power imbalance, that literal physical power imbalance, that imbalance in the ability to coerce and exert force and to be violent, is just a fact and a reality of the power imbalance between men and women. But your culture is in love with power. It's in love with force. It's in love with violence. So to you, whoever has the greater capacity for violence, whoever has the greater capacity for being dangerous, then that person is better. The one who can exert his will is better. Whoever has the power to force people to do something is better. And whoever is weaker is less. It's because you admire power so much, and you admire force, and you admire the ability to coerce, that you find yourself resenting that men have authority over women, or the idea, the concept of men having authority over women, because you think it's unfair. You think that women are being deprived. But remove that authority and see how deprived you'll be. Remove that authority and you will be in danger. You will be deprived of your safety. You'll be deprived of your security, your freedom, and maybe your life.
Meaning that if we didn't have like law enforcement, men running things and things of that nature, what would stop these creeps from out here from just, running up on women and doing whatever the hell they want? Nothing. Right?
Can you imagine back in the day during the days of Babylon, Medo Persia, Greece? You think women would just run around free, doing whatever they wanted to do? No, they were property, slaves, anything you name. I mean, and that's just a prime example of how things, work. This man, I mean, you go back in history and just look at a lot of this stuff. And everything he was saying was the facts. If you don't have these rules in place, if it wasn't for that patriarchy, it would be a disaster.
When you think about it too, right? Also, right? I'm saying, just this whole culture that has been propagated upon us. Right, and that we have adopted, a lot of, lust, lasciviousness, whores, harlots, pookies, ray-rays. Just the fact that you just look at the rules and what it prevents. If the Most High requires you to have sex with a woman, that you got to be married, right? That's going to stop wayward baby, baby mamas. That's going to stop, children. With no fathers, all of this kind of crazy stuff, because you got to get married, right? It's going to stop, so this will stop harlotry for the most part. They didn't have all the women running around as harlotry back in the day, right? The sisters that are in the scriptures that they looked up to, these were women of modest apparel, right? Those were the sisters that they talked about. Oh, Rachel, oh, Leah, and oh, Rebecca, and all the sisters that were out here that they were teaching about, and they had came upon. You know, these sisters were righteous, right? And they were respected for their mind because they weren't out here in butt skimpy shorts, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. And dudes would not try them and approach them with disrespect because they know that women require marriage, right? So you have to come correct. You know, you weren't coming out here with all this foolishness, you know what I'm saying, thinking that you can, pay to have sex or do anything still stupid like that. You know what I mean? Like if you paid for sex, you were literally at the whorehouse, right? They had a whorehouse for that kind of, you know what I'm saying, for that kind of thing. You don't go out and approach, natural women like that. You didn't have catcalling and all this other crazy stuff now that, you know, that women don't like and stuff because back in the day, right, they had respect for themselves and they had enough sense and enough discipline to understand that before I give a man sex, you know, I got to require marriage. I got to get commitment out of him. Right, there's got to be something that's an exchange for me because I don't want to be turned into a whore. Right, I don't want to be turned into a I don't want to give you this that's precious, right, for the first time, and then you leave and then you go out and you do something else crazy. You know what I mean? Or you know what I'm saying? It was just a whole lot different back in the day. The way the Most High had things laid down, it prevented a lot of this craziness that we have today.
You know, and that's the problem with this wicked dogma mess, you know, this whole culture thing. And it wasn't that long ago. Hell, I mean, me and Aton, we're around the same age, you know, a few years, maybe 5 years older than he is. But even growing up, there was a time where a woman knew their worth. Once a woman hit puberty and she got in high school, she knew her worth. I remember plenty of girls that would not dare try to get with a dude, you know, without or trying to have sex without marriage, you know. But it just, you look at the times and how things change, and now these days a woman don't even consider their worth, not even a smidgen. And it's like we're living in a time where it's just everything, like Brother Aton was saying, we're living in a time of lasciviousness where, you know, people are just giving it up for free. You got the Poobies and the Ray-Rays and you got the harlots, and they don't care about marriage these days. No one cares about marriage. As long as they get them cheeks, they're good. Nobody's making any commitments. Nobody's making any vows. You know, nobody wants that anymore. It's like, okay, well, why get married when I can just get the milk and the cow for free?
Because they don't want to endure.
Exactly. And, you know, I'm not worried about the baby. If the baby comes, the baby comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And there's no consideration for bringing children in this world anymore. There used to be a time where, when Israelite back in the day, when they brought in the children, they already had the name picked out. If it was a girl, they had the name picked out. If it was a boy, they already had the name picked out. All right. And if it was a girl, that little girl was groomed from a baby on up until the time that she was married to be a helpmate to her man. And that boy was groomed from a very young age to be the leader, the head, and to be the supplier, all right, and the provider. So, you know, we're totally out of order. We totally have no concept of right now of what even a relationship. I'm not going to say relationships, but just the whole marriage structure that the Most High had set up. It wasn't no dating. It was no cool. It was no boyfriend and girlfriend. You know, the two fathers got together. You know, if they decided, you know, the marriage and everything, they would agree and have the wedding right, you know, and they would join together. They would, the man would not go to war for a year in order to be, was it a year? I think it's a year.
Khan, yep. Yeah, honeymoon was a year.
A year, so they can get to know one another. You know, that's just the way it was. But now, these days, nobody's committed to nothing. No marriage or nothing. They'll get them cheeks though, but they don't want, like I said, bringing babies in with no consideration, that's dangerous. No plan, you know. Born for the sword. This is the society we're living in right now.
Look at this, Doc. We ain't gonna play it right here. It says Yahweh Shai, born of the seed of man. These folks are going straight into the belly the lake of fire. You best believe that they're going straight into the belly of hell, man. It's lucky. I just happen to see that no lie.
You invent a concept, this concept of equality, and treat it as sacred, and you believe in it religiously, with religious devotion, and you demand that everyone believes in it, and no one can dare doubt.
Right? That equality is like a god, and you know what I'm saying. It's like the new god on the earth that they over here trying to worship, and anything goes under it too. It's madness.
The reality and the holy truth of the concept of equality, even though all evidence that you are exposed to on a daily basis disproves that concept. So you'll make fun of us and you'll look down on us and you'll insult our intelligence for believing in something that you say we don't have any proof for. Meanwhile, you're believing in something for which all of the proof that exists disproves it. You see how incoherent your thinking process is?
You see,
Yeah, that's pretty much the end of it, Israel. But it's crazy. It's just straight up like the times that we're living in. It's just like Isaiah 5 when it says Isaiah 5:20, where it says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put bitter for sweet and sweet bitter." That's Isaiah 5:20, and that's what we're seeing right now. That is the very thing that we are seeing. Everything that's good has become bad, and everything that's bad has become good. And are you going there right now? Isaiah 5:20?
Oh no, Con, man. This is Amos 5. I had something also on that.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, Con.
Yeah, and the only way we truly Israel are going to be free is that I've already come to the conclusion at the end of the day, it's just there's no way that we can continue to increase as long as we're with these heathens. It's going to continue to get worse and worse. As long as we're intermingled with these heathens, we have to be separate. And I see why. I truly see why the Most High delivered Israel out of the land of Egypt, because they had to. Had Israel remained in Egypt, they probably would have all been destroyed just through all the customs of the Egyptians and the wickedness of the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm. I was going to go to. Oh, Slocky, go ahead.
I was just saying. I mean, just when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense why Israel had to be separated and go out into the wilderness, and it's going to happen again.
God.
We got to be separated from these heathens, Israel. That's the only way. No way. The only way.
Man, the book of Amos, chapter 5, and I was going to read 14 and 15, but I also love verse 10 as well. It says, "They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly." Right? So if you're out there, you try to teach things of righteousness, don't expect to be liked. Right? Don't expect everybody to be on your side. It's always going to be, just like you see in every show, good versus evil. Right? The wicked versus the righteous. Right? It's going to always be that situation. Right? You're not going to have friends, and there's always going to be more wicked people. I want to say something else there. There's always going to be more wicked than there is of the righteous, right? So you're always going to be fighting uphill. There's always going to be a battle. It's always going to be, strenuous. It's not going to be easy, right? Should the kingdom be easy, right? No, the kingdom should not be easy to obtain. You got to go through all kinds of things in order to be able to get the kingdom, right?
120 years, Israel. 120 years to speak to a stiff-necked people, Methuselah, Enoch, and other righteous brothers who had passed away right before the flood. 120 years of the same thing. Only 8, and that was Noah's family.
That's a lot of teaching too.
Even right there, that all my life, that has always boggled my mind. It almost seems like it's not even real, but it is real. It's just like, but you can see the concept. You can see why it's only going to always be a few. All right, it's always going to only be a few. You look at Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot, and Lot almost didn't make it out, but his wife definitely didn't make it out. You
I
know,
mean,
because when you're tied to something, Israel, when you're really tied to wickedness and you're tied to a system that tastes good, that feels good, it's hard to break. It's hard to break. And unfortunately, a lot of our sisters, a lot of the harlots, a lot of the poogies and the ray rays, they're bathing in a system that they love. They just love it like gravy on rice. And you can't tell them anything because why? Because they're bathed in it. They're soaked in it. You know,
this is a house built on lies.
and it is. And it's a lie that it's a bunch of lies that feel good to a lot of our people. They don't want to. I'm telling you, you know, gangster rap is going to always be there because you know why? They always flaunt out the women. They always flaunt out the money. Everybody wants that dollar. Everybody wants a piece of that bag. Oh man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my man. I'm going to degrade the women. I'm going to degrade my own people. But guess what? I'm going to get that bag. That's what it's all about. And again, it all boils down to us being integrated with these heathens. And until we separate from these people, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse.
The scriptures say they were born wicked from the womb, right? In Amos 5:14, it says, "Seek the good and not evil," right? That ye may live. Now, it's not talking about like in the physical, like this life right here that you're talking about. It's talking about you may live for eternity, right? That you may have a spiritual body one day when the Most High sends His Son back to redeem us. It says, "Seek the good and not evil, that ye may live. And so the Lord, the God of hosts, shall be with you as ye have spoken. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be that the Lord God of hosts will be gracious unto the remnant of Joseph." All right. What does that mean? Everything that we see that's going on around us, man, come on, man. You know good and well this stuff is wicked, right? Now that we've gotten back, right? You know what I'm saying? Now we're soaked deep, right, with the heathen right now, in the heathen culture right now. They got control of everything, right? And they control a lot of our people, a lot of what they do, right? They're the ones that make the decisions about what kind of music comes out. You know, we don't care, you know, just like Brother Daniel was saying, right? They disrespect the sisters, you know, calling them hoes and bees and all this other stuff, right? Right, try to make it seem like then they got you know, sisters of low quality and poor morals up on the videos, shaking booty cheeks, right? 100% wickedness on all around, but they don't even see that it's these heathens that are in control of the situation. Now we don't have to do it, and see that's the thing that that hurts us the most, is that you don't have to do it. You don't have to be a nigga, right? The white man dangle a carrot in front of you, right, and tell you you got to hop on one leg. Brother, you don't need that carrot, man. Turn your back on that heathen and walk away. You don't have to make songs about shooting your brother, right? Taking your brother's wife, right? You don't have to make, sister, you don't have to make songs about you know, sexual, that's just overly sexual. I don't even feel comfortable about even mentioning some of the lyrics. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you don't even have to mention these things, right? But our people, right, they figure that, you know what, in order to impress this white man, for him to sign me to a deal so I can get some of this money with the white man's face on it, then I'm gonna be wicked, and I'm gonna talk down, and I'm gonna talk unrighteously and wickedly and evilness on my people. Like no other race does that but ours. Do y'all recognize this? No other race does this but ours.
And you know what's so crazy? It's like our people, and the love of money is the root of all evil. And I said the love of money, and like our people will, they will initiate, like the heathens. You know, they're sitting back. This is what you know, this is what they're going to put upon us. But it is our people that are the ones that are inflaming it. You know, it's like they just take it to a whole new level. And like brother said, you know, they're the ones writing the lyrics. The heathens are not writing the lyrics for these brothers.
Right.
Right now that he just may be having some influence and tell them, hey, the only way we're going to endorse you is that you're going to have to do this or do that. But like brother said, you don't have to do that. Why would you always do that? Again, it boils down to the money. Love of money is the root of all evil. And where did this whole concept of love of money come from? The heathens. Our people were never like that. Our people, money was used as a tool, to manage and everything, but it wasn't their God. When did money become our God? Man, it's like, look at us. We just like the heathens. Money is our God. And that's why you have a lot of our people who just selling out left and right. Chasing the dollar. That's why old boy, what's that dude's name? Curry Ivy, something like that basketball player, when he was confronted, about his faith and everything, they was threatening him. They was threatening to fire him. He had to pay like $500,000. He had to do like these 5 things. He bowed in. He gave in to the pressure. Why? Because the love of money. Money will make our people do some crazy stuff, Israel. I mean, it's just wicked. Go ahead, brother. What you got?
Well, this is something like this guy's a YouTube personality, I guess, but this is some supreme cooning right here, right? This is the kind of stuff that we don't need to be doing, Israel, to try to get money out of these white folks.
This my first time rapping. If you start, they too sturdy. 2x2 Hellcat go fast. 4x. Oh, you like that? Okay. Oh, you probably wondering how I got.
All right. I just wanted to show. Just look at that right there. You up in there, look at all those heathen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 heathen up in there, right? 9 heathen that are all descendants from slave masters, right? And then you have a nigga right in the midst of them, dancing on the table like some jigaboo monkey, right? Swinging from branches, just giving these folks all the stereotypes and putting us a proverb on the earth, which is like the scriptures say. Like, these are the type of folks that are in our community that have mass influence over the young, right? That convince them that doing things like this is okay, right? And this is another reason why we can't get out of the deep sunken place that we're in. I don't want to finish it up. Go ahead.
Speaking of sunken place, remember that movie called Get Out? And that dude, you remember that movie?
Yeah, I remember that.
When that Hebrew woman gave that boy some tea, and all of a sudden he started having like this dream or something, like he was falling. He couldn't wake himself up. He was just falling. That's how our people are. Just falling inside of an abyss.
Facts.
It's crazy. Our people are so far down the abyss that they don't even realize it.
Well, Israel, you got anything, brother?
No, man, that's all I got, brother.
God. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put the link in the chat, right? If y'all have any questions or y'all just want to come on and say a little something, right? Go ahead and put the link down here in the chat for you guys. Now, if y'all have any questions, now is the time to ask them. All right. Now is the time to answer if y'all got any questions.
That's right.
Right, and then we'll wait about a few minutes here. Hey, what you got, a lightsaber right there, brother? What's going on?
I'm trying to open up a portal, man. No,
oh man, yo, you about to get rebuked over there. Let me find out what you doing over there. I'm trying to come through. Out of here, man. Shut that down, man. I don't see Hamashiach flying nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Israel. Looks like we don't have any questions, man. I appreciate y'all for joining the live tonight. All praises to the Most High God of Israel, Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai. I appreciate y'all.
All right, Israel. Well, hey, we'll let y'all enjoy your Shabbat. I know I am, boy. Give me some serious rest.
That's right.
Israel, we want to go ahead and bid you a Shabbat Shalom.
God, and stay strong, Israel. We're out of here.